all you lovely people, and welcome back to Kyle's Lists. We are now in the back half of my all-time favorite movies. Today we're covering 50 through 41. All of these movies are gold, so if you didn't think that you were going to watch the first 50, you should definitely watch the last 50 in some part of your life. So we're going to go ahead and get started. At number 50, we have Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. This movie follows Miles Morales as he gets bit by a radioactive spider and becomes Spider-Man. You know the drill. This movie is animated to look like a movie that is straight up a comic book in front of you, and it's not the first movie to do that, but it is the most beautiful looking and the most innovative. It is truly phenomenal. Its multiverse platform is groundbreaking and allows you to see many iterations of the famous Spider-Man character, including the hilarious Spider-Pig and the equally over-the-top Spider-Man Noir, voiced to perfection by Nicolas Cage. This movie just really blew me away. The cast is great, and overall just a really, really great movie. It's chock full of great action, great humor, and heart. And its central message about what it takes to be a hero and the hero within all of us is truly wonderful, and everybody can get something out of it. This movie is truly breathtaking, and Miles's leap of faith sequence is one of my favorite movie scenes of all time. Moving along to number 49, we have Blade Runner 2049. See what I did there? The sequel that came out over 30 years after the original movie debuted. It is better than the first movie, and I will die upon that hill. It follows Agent K, played wonderfully by Ryan Gosling, as he tries to track down the first potential hybrid between replicants and humans. It's a story about faith, hope, and identity, as well as what it means to be human. It takes all of the great elements of the first movie and expands upon it by adding in greater action sequences and a more heartfelt story than the original. It's wonderfully crafted by Denis Villeneuve, who again makes another appearance in this list. This movie is also maybe the most beautifully shot movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Roger Deakins finally won that coveted Oscar for this movie, and it is without a doubt one of the prettiest movies I've ever seen. Every single shot is so well designed and so intentional. The production design's incredible. Harrison Ford returns to the franchise, something I never thought would happen, but he gives a great performance as well. This movie is just truly, truly groundbreaking and phenomenal and worth everybody's time. At number 48, we have Die Hard. Yes, Die Hard. This fantastic, fantastic movie. I love this movie so much. It's got so many iconic things, from its villain Hans Gruber to Nakatomi Tower Plaza to John McClane to Yippee-Ki-Yay motherfucker to the duct tape gun to everything that happens. This movie is just so iconic. It's one of your quintessential action movies. Bruce Willis is the perfect guy to play John McClane. He brings the physicality and the sarcastic wit that is required to play the role. There's truly nothing about this movie that is not iconic. It's just about a story about a random cop who is visiting his estranged wife for a Christmas party, and the Christmas party gets taken over by terrorists, but why are they there? That's the real question. It's just great. It's got fantastic one-liners and action sequences that are still pretty impressive to this day, and really should just be watched by everybody. At number 47, we have Logan. As a die-hard Wolverine fan, this was the movie I had been waiting for my whole life. An R-rated Wolverine solo movie that I never thought would get made. It's bloody, it's violent, it's depressing, but ultimately it is also an uplifting story about family. James Mangold was the perfect guy to make this movie, and his direction is fantastic, along with a script he co-wrote with a couple other writers, and it actually got nominated for an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay, which is very rare for a comic book movie. Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman shine as Professor X and Wolverine respectively. It's the most mature performance that they give because it's the most mature X-Men movie, but the real standout of the movie is definitely Daphne Keane. Previously kind of an unknown, I had never seen her in anything or heard of her prior to being in this movie. she was phenomenal. She stole every scene that she was in, and she actually dedicates herself really well to the physicality brought behind playing her role. I just cannot tell you enough about how much I was looking forward to this movie, and it truly lived up to the hype. It's such a deep, rich exploration of family and what it means to have hope. And I had the gruesome violence is also an added bonus because I've been waiting for that from a Wolverine movie for a long time. I truly, truly love this movie. At number 46, we have Tangled. This classic animated movie features the voice talents of Mandy Moore, Zachary Levi, Donna Murphy, and Ron Perlman, amongst others. Tangled has a little bit of something for everybody. It takes your classic story of Rapunzel and it adds a little bit of new twists to it. The music is brought to you by the legendary Alan Menken, who's brought music to so many wonderful animated movies, both before and after. It's truly, truly great. Zachary Levi's Flynn Rider is such a fun character to watch. I tried to mimic his smolder that he does in the movie, but I can't really do it all that well. It's just a really, really cool movie, and all of the actors do a great job bringing their voices to the movie. It's colorful, it's well animated, it tells a really interesting story, but the way that it kind of tells the original Rapunzel story and kind of your typical princess story sort of presents it in a new way and a really fun and exciting way, and it's just one of the most lovable movies of all time, and I truly love it, and I'll watch it whenever it's on. At number 45, we have 3:10 to Yuma. This is a movie that I realized that James Mangold was the perfect person to make Logan because of this movie. This Western stars Christian Bale and Russell Crowe. It's about a character portrayed by Christian Bale who's a simple farmer who volunteers to take this legendary outlaw played by Russell Crowe to the prison train, the 3:10 to Yuma. It features all of your typical Western, great horse chases, great shootouts, smaller moments in between on the road that are emotional, and overall this movie just has a really good premise. It's a remake, and I think that it's a step above the original remake because of the great casting and the updated sort of effects, the ability to have those chases look a lot cooler now that we've advanced in technology. Ben Foster has a supporting role and truly shines in this movie and does a really, really great job of it. And overall, 3:10 to Yuma is just one of those classic westerns that's really, really well acted and is kind of a step above the rest because of its amazing cast. All right, on to number 44, we have Back to the Future, one of the most iconic movies of all time and one of the most fun movies of all time. Back to the Future is an absolute joyride, starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd in career best turns as Marty McFly and Doc Brown. This time travel romp has, again, a little bit for everybody. The time travel story is really, really cool. It tries to follow the rules the theoretical rules of time travel. It's got hilariously awkward moments between Marty and his future mom. It's got a legendary villain in Biff and some genuinely thrilling scenes. It's got a great script, and Robert Zemeckis' great direction makes for some really, really fun moments. The DeLorean is one of the most famous movie props of all time. It's pretty much the symbol outside of, the telephone booth for what a time machine really is. And it's just one of those movies that's instantly rewatchable. My favorite scene in it is when Marty McFly just blasts Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry to this dance that's at his school, and they're all just kind of like blown away at the rock and roll because it would come out in the future. But overall, it's just a really, really incredible movie that everyone should watch. At number 43, we have Ocean's 11, another remake that appears on this list that is elevated from the original simply because of its incredible cast and update nature. This movie had maybe the greatest cast ever assembled at that current moment in time, with George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia as your main characters, and then some co-leads, including Bernie Mac, Don Cheadle, and a not yet famous Casey Affleck. I mean, it's just star-studded. It's a simple heist movie. It's a quintessential Las Vegas movie. It's so, so good. It's charming. It's fun. It's slick. The heist itself is brilliantly executed and brilliantly choreographed. and makes for some truly shocking moments. Andy Garcia's Terry Benedict's a rather suave villain and does a great job. The true standouts of this movie are easily Clooney and Pitt. They do a great job of playing Danny Ocean and Rusty, respectively. They do a really good job of balancing off each other's charisma to create this really, really cool dynamic. There's so many memorable scenes in this movie, and overall, if you like heist flicks, this is one of the best. At number 42, we have another Matt Damon movie, the Bourne Ultimatum. The final in the original three Bourne movies. It is directed by Paul Greengrass, and he brings his usual style to the Bourne series. In my opinion, it's the best Bourne movie to date and probably won't be topped. Damon is on absolute point in the movie. There's some truly great action set pieces filled with tension and exciting camera work. Greengrass brings his typical shaky cam that really actually works in this movie. It makes you sort of claustrophobic and raw and makes the action right up in your face and chaotic. Specifically the Bourne Dash fight, which is maybe the greatest fight scene in the whole movie series. It's got another iconic car chase because every Bourne movie needs to have an iconic car chase. It's got great lines. I remember the iconic line, I seriously doubt that if you were in your office, we'd be having this conversation face to face. I get chills when I hear that line. It's such a cool scene. It's so great. This movie is truly the definitive Bourne movie. And at number 41, we have Rush. This Ron Howard directed film about the real-life rivalry between James Hunt and Niki Lauda is filled with great, great moments. Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl play James Hunt and Niki Lauda respectively. There's a solid supporting cast of characters as well, but the main story is about the two's rivalry, friendship, and how they push each other to be the best racers that they can be, all leading up to that almost fateful accident involving the crash that Niki Lauda has. His comeback and the way Bruhl portrays his character is so fascinating to watch. These are two men who were almost complete opposites, but who brought out both the best and the worst in each other in their rivalry. The racing scenes themselves are wonderfully done and some of the coolest ones to date. Rush is truly a really fascinating movie because it's not just about racing, it's a story about two men and the different ways that they approach the game, and it's truly, truly a phenomenal watch that you all should watch. So that's our list for today, numbers 50 through 41. Let me know what you think. Again, I think all of you should watch these movies because they truly have a little bit of something for everybody. Tune in next week when I cover number 40 through 31. It's going to be a great list, and we're hitting the home stretch. Hope each and every one of you are doing well. Stay safe and keep being awesome. Thanks.